Guys, what is going on again? Back with another Arbitrum ecosystem updates. As usual, nothing in this video is financial advice, and everything I say and do is my opinion and my opinion alone. Without further ado, let's jump right into it, guys. First tweet is actually by a boy today. I'll start with the underlying tweet first, and then I'll talk about what I was saying. But essentially, Zai Games says, excited to announce that Binance has integrated Zai mainnet support. Zai is the first chain in the Arbitrum ecosystem with mainnet support. GG. This is huge news. Binance, as all of you guys know, the big centralized exchange, one of the biggest in crypto, if not the biggest in crypto, just announced support for essentially, I think it's currently deposits, open deposits from the Zai chain to Binance, which is huge. And of course, the next big thing would be the withdrawals. But I wanted to highlight that because one thing that I think one of the biggest criticisms I think for L2s, L3s, etc., is that it complicates UX, and it just makes the whole idea of bridging is terrible, right, for end users. So what I said was the broke mindset is the broke mindset is thinking that bridging complexity stifles onboarding for L2s and L3s. But the woke mindset is withdrawing from an exchange directly to the L2 or L3 and skipping the bridge altogether. At the end of the day, once, let's say in this case, Zai already has deposit support, once they get withdrawal support, which I'm sure is not that far away, the end user doesn't need to know necessarily that Zai is like 2 or 3 layers away from Ethereum, quote unquote, right? The whole layer thing is at the end of the day, I think a lot of people need to realize the whole idea of a layer is just a way that we as an industry have decided to kind of conceptualize what these different chains are, right? In all reality, we could have conceptualized these things as horizontal kind of pieces to Ethereum that kind of connect back to it, right? So making it look like less of a kind of 2 steps removed thing. It looks more of like a horizontal thing. It's all marketing at the end of the day. Things what people need to realize, and the only thing that stifles onboarding for users is the centralized exchange support, because that's where everyone starts. So I think this integration just shows that, and this is what I said in the tweet, that the Orbitchain ecosystem will see faster user adoption than most think, because I think a lot of the Orbitchains that are launching do have a great idea of the product that they're selling, and how they want users to integrate with that product. And of course, the connections of the Arbitrum ecosystem, getting listings on exchanges like that, I think is a lot easier to do than if you just had some other random stack chain. So huge shout out to Zai there. That is an amazing win in all reality. And yeah, really excited to see any future Orbit chain get support for big centralized exchanges like these. We have the next tweet here by Rainbow. Rainbow says Rainbow Extension supports RARI chain as a featured custom network and all future Arbitrum L3s. We will auto detect. We'll auto detect all your tokens and NFTs thanks to Simple Hash. I'll make sure to retweet that too. Actually, that is first of all, shout outs to Rainbow. If you currently use the Rainbow wallet on the iPhone, one of the wallets that I use. They also have a Rainbow extension, if you didn't know. So similar to MetaMask, you can have it on the top right of your screen. And more recently, I think the same day that they announced this, they also announced custom, essentially the ability to add custom networks. So RARI chain is definitely one of the featured ones, as they mentioned, and of course, as most of you know at this point, they are an Orbit chain. So, like I said, I think you're just going to see more and more support for Orbit chains, and I think most of these videos are just going to be me talking about added support for each new Orbit chain that comes out. It may get boring, but maybe you guys will find it exciting because in this case, I think 2024 we're going to see the biggest explosion of blockchains. That's for sure. I mean, L2s and L3s at the very least, not necessarily standalone blockchains. But huge shout out to Rainbow for doing that. And of course, big shout out to RARI chain, of course, for their recent launch. We have Laura Shin here. Laura says Arbitrum is approaching its all-time high in ETH held. The rollup holds a nearly 4.5 million ETH in its smart contracts, and 13% increase in the past 30 days, and 104% jump in the past year. Now, I want to go ahead and repeat what you said there. That number, 4.49 million ETH in the smart contracts, that's 4.49 million ETH, not $4.4 million worth of ETH. It's actual ETH. That's insane. I think there's a chart too out there that shows how much ETH is actually locked up in Arbitrum smart contracts compared to other chains. Someone might have quote tweeted with it, maybe not. It's an insane amount. I think Arbitrum holds the most ETH out of almost every other chain combined. Obviously not ETH, not Ethereum, but I think every other chain combined, it holds more ETH, which is absolutely bonkers. So, you know, and you know, people ask, okay, like what's happening with ETH in that chain? Is it just being wasted? Like no one's using it. And I'll always go back to the whole idea of like Ethereum mainnet. It will just be way too expensive, I think, for the average user at the end of the day to use, whether it's like from like a DeFi perspective or even to send it back and forth, it can be relatively expensive. So I think knowing that you have your ETH on a relatively safe chain compared to the other options that you have out there at the very least, I think is the biggest peace of mind that you can get. And that's, if you ask me, that to me I think is why a lot of ETH is on Arbitrum, because people know there are fraud proofs. The chain is essentially fully complete. Permissionless validation, is being developed, and I think like and it's actually the only fully decentralized chain in terms of ownership. Like literally, like the DAO owns the chain. So, you know, it's to me, it's inevitable. It makes perfect sense to me, but I think a lot of people just can't conceptualize the idea of decentralization because I get it. There's a lot of other teams out there that kind of that have faux decentralization. They have quote unquote DAOs that don't really control anything. They talk about like they're decentralizing when in reality like there isn't really that much kind of substance to what they're saying. I get it. So all I will say is that guys, educate yourselves out there. You know, see what these other chains are shipping versus what they're saying. And you know, for the most part, you might end up mid curving it like I do. To be honest, I mid curve a lot of things. You might end up thinking too much actually. So I don't know. Anyways, I thought it was some interesting stats that Laura Shin posted. This is an actual blog post too, if you want to take a look at it. As usual, the link is down in the description. But yeah, we're going to end off the episode as usual with a shill from Beneath the Layers, a community-focused show dedicated to showcasing entrepreneurs in Web3 and telling their stories, hosted by your boy. The most recent episode was released, I think, about a week or two ago, with Ellie from Starkware. Great video if you're interested in privacy, ZK proofs, etc. And a whole bunch of other videos. I think 2 of them are actually about gaming, and a couple of others are just about like scaling Ethereum in generally, and just talking about entrepreneurship. So yeah, that being said, guys, as usual, thank you for watching today's episode, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully, by the way, Coco over here didn't bother you with his chirps. This guy, bro. Anyways, see you guys in the next one, all right? I got to figure out how to end this video without... Hold on, here we go. Okay, bam. Bye.